big dinner. We've had a big long day. We started at 9:45 and it's now 8:45, so it's been a long day. Okay, so we're just now finishing up dinner. In order to get back to our hut, we have to have an escort because I'm going to put up some video to show you what's happening just on the other side of this tent. Back about 50 yards, maybe 100 yards, a whole pack of lions is back there feeding on a recent kill, and we can't even believe it's there. And when they talk about we need an escort to get from tent to tent at night, it's a real thing, and it's very serious because seeing what we just saw is unbelievable. Good morning. So this is sunrise in the Serengeti. We're sitting here having breakfast, and you see the staff all run to a vehicle, and the vehicle shoots off over to the side of our camp. And one of the staff members comes over and says the lions just took down a buffalo. So they were going over to check it out. You can't even imagine. I mean, right on the edge of camp, which is only 50 yards. Amazing.
Alright, so we are here at the gate for the northern part of the Serengeti. As you can see, it's a very different landscape than the part of the Serengeti we were in yesterday. This entrance takes you to the Mara River, which is one of the best places to see the Great Migration. So we're really hoping to have a chance to see that this afternoon. Okay, so we are right next to the Mara River that the Great Migration occurs, where the wildebeest cross over from Tanzania into Kenya. Just behind us over here is Kenya, a little off in the distance. You know, these are animals based on a bunch of different conditions. You really don't know when the migration is going to occur when they cross over at this point. You know, it should be happening right about now, but our guide said that because of the change in the climate, the wildebeest are still over on the Tanzanian side when they should be crossing over into the Kenyan side. So again, nature is what it is, and you know, you can only predict when something's going to happen. You can't make an accurate assessment because of so many different variables, but still very cool. And the Mara River here is it's low, but it's still beautiful.
Good afternoon. We are coming to you from the north side of Serengeti National Park, and we're waiting for the wildebeest migration as they cross over the Meru River. There are currently 14 vehicles out here waiting for the wildebeest to cross, and it's been a waiting game all day at this point.
Yeah, they keep, you know, going from one spot looking to see if it's safe. They don't like it, so then they move to another spot. Then they go back to a different spot, and
because there are crocs in the water, and we saw some earlier, so they're waiting.
It tells you everything you need to know. The Mara River is nicknamed the River of Death in Africa for this very reason, because so many wildebeest get taken down by crocodiles. So I know they're just trying to be cautious to make sure as many as possible can get through on this crossing.
Now it's a small herd we're watching, and there's a really large herd behind us that might want to cross that way. But we're watching a herd that's going to come across this way.
From the Kenyan side back into the Tanzanian side.
So we'll keep you posted. I can turn the camera around, but the GoPro, it's pretty far away, so you won't be able to pick them up. But we can zoom in with the other camera so you can see what we're seeing.
So we're all still here waiting to see if this pack of wildebeest is brave enough to cross the Mara River. They've gone to so many different spots. There's tons of crocodiles in here. We see them lounging on the rocks. So they have every reason to be apprehensive, but every time they seem to pick a spot, they end up backing away from it. So I don't know if we're gonna see it today. All right, so this is our home for the night. It looks very familiar, doesn't it? We are at another tented bush camp, this time in the North Serengeti. And I'm just gonna take you on a quick walk through. It's very similar to the one that we stayed last night in the Central Serengeti region. We have a bathroom with a sink near all that. Our own shower, which they are draining the water for us now so that we can take a hot shower. We have a toilet, so we don't have to leave the tent in the middle of the night, and that totally came in handy yesterday, so pretty excited about that. And of course, we have the main bedroom area. Now, the place that we stayed last night, they had 2 separate beds. We are sharing a bed tonight.
What?
But it's lovely, isn't it? Darren's excited.
So excited.
Darren's excited for a hot shower. And kind of the same setup. We have a desk, and this time instead of a chair in the corner, because we only have the one bed, we actually have a cute little couch to relax on. So really comfortable little setup, and hopefully we get a good night's sleep tonight.
This is Tent Elephant requesting an escort for dinner. Thank you very much. Okay, so as you can see, it's extremely important to follow the rules when you're in a bush camp in any location, but especially in the Serengeti in Africa. Point in fact, last night our driver, who's been driving around several days, went back to his car and then was going back to his tent, and was surprised by a lion and ended up in his car for 2 hours before another group of people came along, and he was able to make it back to his camp. So don't take these things for granted. It's very serious. As you'll see from a lot of our videos, there was a pride of more than a dozen lions in our camp last night, and it killed 2 animals, one at late last night and one early in the morning. So don't take it for granted, follow the rules, and you'll end up enjoying your vacation and not end up dead.
All right, good morning. So we are getting ready to leave the Northern Serengeti Park and heading back down towards the Central Eastern Serengeti. So we didn't have success yesterday watching the herd migrate across the Mara River. They kept looking at different spots, and I think they kept seeing crocodiles and were too nervous to get across. Our guide said that some people will actually book safaris for this portion of the park for like 3 days just to have a chance to see herds cross the Mara. So what we experienced yesterday was not atypical. Unfortunately, sometimes it just takes these herds a few days to get their courage up to cross, and who can blame them? There's a lot of scary stuff in that water. But we still get to see the Great Migration. I mean, technically, this whole thing is the Great Migration. After we left the Mara River, we drove over to our tented camp, and we drove through, I would have to guess, almost 100,000 wildebeest. They were everywhere, on every hilltop, every valley. I mean, just thousands and thousands and thousands. We had to pass about 100,000. So we still got to see a really incredible sight and see the animals migrating. We just didn't get to see that epic crossing of the river. So this is not a complete loss. It was still an amazing experience, and I highly recommend, if you have any interest in seeing these amazing creatures do their migration, to absolutely make your way up to this part of the park. And now, sadly, we're leaving Serengeti National Park.
Oh, Kwaheri! Goodbye, Kwaheri!
Kwaheri!
Now we are in Ngorongoro.
All right, so we are back at the Hondo Coffee Lodge just outside the Ngorongoro Conservation Area. We just had an absolutely epic 3 days in Serengeti National Park. We saw so many things that we never actually imagined we'd see. It was really the first day was like the day of the cat. We saw tons and tons of lions, 3 leopards, 4 cheetahs. We even saw something called a caracal, which is basically, it's called the African lynx. It's not technically a lynx, but it has kind of like the same ears, the little tufts on the ears. So, they call it a lynx, these are all really rare. The lions, maybe not so much, but the others definitely rare, and so many other incredible animals. And then today, we also had an epic experience. Darren?
We moved down the road just a bit, and there was a large herd of elephants. And wow, I mean, at one point, one big male pushed on our truck because he needed to get past, and there was not enough room because there were so many vehicles there watching the herd. They were just kind of mingling around all the vehicles, doing what they do, and it was spectacular. They were literally within arm's distance. I mean, to say that the experience was just, I don't know a better word for it. It was epic. It was epic. This whole 3 days has been so incredible. We wish that we could share more with you from the truck itself. The roads are crazy here. So it was very bumpy and very loud. They call it an African massage for a reason. It's like the whole car is just rumbling. Yeah, they're washboard type roads, and the faster you drive, the worse they get over time. So they're horrible. I mean, they literally can rattle the fillings out of your teeth, and it goes on for hours and hours, and it's not a whole lot of fun. That's the only probably downside to the safari. But you come around a corner and there's a huge giraffe on the side of the road eating, and you don't care about the road. Forget about it, and it's great. Yeah. So it was so hard to film while we were in motion. We did some. But obviously we thought we would, kind of save this piece and how we felt about it to share with you in a way that you could actually hear us. Good morning. Good morning. So we are getting ready to head out for our day in the Ngorongoro crater. Finishing getting dressed. Notice everything we're wearing is super neutral. Lots of khaki and a lot of green. We packed a cube that is like just stuff for Africa. And of course, multiple layers, because in the morning, especially in places like this conservation area, it's pretty cold. It's up in the mountains, and the temperatures drop pretty significantly at night and in the morning. So I've got my layers for today. And it's really important to dress properly because I know I'd mentioned before wearing like your bug spray and stuff like that. The tsetse flies here are no joke. We were sitting around waiting for the wildebeest to cross the Manyara River the other day, and we kept getting bit by them. And the tsetse flies can carry disease. They carry some of them can carry a parasite that can make you really sick. So that's why, you want to make sure you wear the proper clothing. So neutral colors, nothing bright, nothing dark, like dark blues or blacks or anything like that, so that you kind of blend in with nature. So you excited about this morning and today? What we have planned? I'm very excited. This is the best opportunity to get to see the black rhinos today. So how many did I say are in the crater? You said like 30. 30. So we'll see. Nothing's guaranteed, and they're hard to find. So hopefully we have one of those moments like we had with the elephants yesterday. We got about an hour drive to get to the area where we go down into the crater, and then we'll pop the top and see you guys then. Sometimes they're growing in the middle of like another tree. I like how this road is paved.
Me, me too. Darren. Alright, so we are officially inside the Ngorongoro crater. Now this is the world's largest inactive, intact, and unfilled volcanic crater in the entire world, which obviously makes it very special. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site, it's protected land. There is a ton of wildlife that lives inside the crater. There's only a couple animals that don't come inside here, including giraffe. The crater walls are just too steep for them to climb down into the crater, but you will find them in the conservation area. We've seen a ton of giraffe over the last couple days coming in and out of here. Also, apparently there are no impala in the crater, and cheetahs don't typically live down here as well. But pretty much everything else you can find inside this crater, including rhino, black rhino, Cape buffalo. We've already seen some elephants, and apparently it's got a very dense lion population in here based on the land size and the amount of lions that are in here. Of a volcanic eruption about 2 to 3 million years ago. The crater is about 2,000 feet deep, and they project that the original volcano prior to the eruption was anywhere from 14,800 to 19,000 feet high. So this was a really, really tall volcano prior to the eruption. So the crater covers about 100 square miles, and the crater floor is still about 5,900 feet above sea level. Ngorongoro crater was also voted by the Natural Wonders of the World as one of Africa's 7 natural wonders.
This is what it's like when a lion is near the road. That's the smallest we've seen yet.
I know. So we just got back from our afternoon safari in Ngorongoro crater, and it was a really great day. There is a ton of wildlife in the crater. We saw herds everywhere, everything from zebra, elephants, Cape buffalo, wildebeest, the gazelle. There's two different types of gazelle that are really prevalent here in Tanzania.
The Thompson gazelle are smaller and have a black stripe along their belly and their back of the leg.
Mm-hmm.
Where the Grant does not.
Does not, and
they are quite a bit larger.
They're considerably larger, but they're both really beautiful animals.
The main goal, or one of the main goals today, was to find and photograph a black rhino. And we were on one side of the lake, and there was the huge parking lot of vehicles on the road. So we stopped, and everybody's looking left towards the lake, and they said there's a rhino down there, and there was a rhino, but it was so far off, unless you had a huge telephoto lens, you weren't going to see it. We, even with binoculars, had a hard time seeing it, but you could see the outline that it was definitely a rhino, but I'm sort of in the school of, if we didn't photograph it,
it still happened. I mean, I can't say because we didn't get a picture it didn't happen. I'm still putting it in the it happened column. It just happened not entirely as we had hoped.
But I mean, it was so far away, if you took your eyes off of it, looked away, you had a hard time finding it again. But you could see, with binoculars, you could see that it was a rhino, and everybody else confirmed that it was a rhino. You just, you want to be, after being sort of spoiled, like Nina said, of being so close to some of the big animals in Serengeti,
we could basically touch them.
Yeah.
We didn't, but we could.
You definitely want to have that experience, at least to be close to, and see and photograph a rhino. That was a prime goal. And unfortunately it didn't happen this time, but, we're definitely going to come back. And either we see him here or we see him maybe in South Africa, on a different safari. It's at some later date in future years, but it's definitely still on the list of to-dos.
We love animals. We love the wildlife. We love Africa. And honestly, there's so much to see and do in these parks. Serengeti is absolutely huge. Ngorongoro crater is much smaller, but it's so unique and so different that it's one of those things. I feel like every single time that you come here, you could experience something completely different.
Yeah, and on that note, like I said, Africa is amazing, and one reason is because we experience things here that we could never ever experience back in the United States. And
Never.
Being that we woke up this morning and we're getting ready to go out, and I look across on the ridgeline and there's an elephant walking, and I'll put up a quick video, a clip of that. He's walking across the ridgeline up here.
That was the coolest thing ever.
And then we get out on the road to go into the park, and there's this huge traffic jam to get in there because their system was down. But then we got up, we started seeing signs of elephant, and we go around the corner, and there's a big male sitting there on the side of the road, sort of causing a little rolling traffic jam. And then he stepped off to the side of the road and let us pass, and we got great video of it. And that's what's amazing, just to be able to see such a wild, massive animal just on the side of the road. And that happens so many times with us, and that's why it's such an amazing place.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, we have so much more to look forward to. Our safari's not over. We have one more stop tomorrow. I think that it's safe to say, though, the last 5 days have been absolutely fantastic. We've had so many experiences. We've been so lucky, and just extremely grateful for all that we have gotten to see in our time here in Tanzania. And I just want to put out there that I love this country. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. There are so many incredible places to visit, beautiful landscapes. Every park is totally different. They're all so unique and so special and offer something different, which is why we chose the safari package that we did, rather than just spending all of our time, our whole week in the Serengeti.
And just to point out that the Serengeti, from the south, the central to the north Serengeti, are completely different.
Every region of it is completely different. It's a totally different landscape depending on where you are.
It's in the south, it's flat, open plains for as far as the eye can see is nothing. And then you'll see an outcropping of rock or a tree and all the trucks go to those locations, and there's an animal of some kind. That's the way it worked out for us.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, because they know, and then you start pushing further towards the central, and all of a sudden you start seeing shrubs, and then trees, and big trees, and then you get to see big animals.
And mountains in the background. And when, you're coming from North America, that's kind of the vision of the Serengeti that we get to see in movies and things like that, in pictures, is basically central Serengeti. But then you go to the north, and it's very green and lush, and again, the landscape changes significantly, and you feel like you're in a completely different park. It's really special. I think it's an incredible place. You could probably spend months there and still never see the entire park. It's huge. But again, it's just one of those things that, we will be back.
And just driving out of Serengeti into Ngorongoro conservation area, we're driving up into the mountains, because you leave the plains and up in the mountains. The amount of giraffe that are walking about, every time we look, there's, a herd of half a dozen or a dozen, and you just see their heads popping up, and all of a sudden they're everywhere. And it's just an amazing creature. I love the giraffe. So, there's always something to see, even when you're traveling from point A to point B.
Absolutely.
On to the next place.
Yeah. So one more night in this phenomenal lodge that we're staying in. We're staying at the Hondo Coffee Lodge here just outside Ngorongoro Conservation Area. It's been a wonderful place that we've gotten to call home for several different nights. And tonight will be our last night here before we hit our last park and then make our way back to Arusha. So we'll see you then.
Bye.
Day of safari, and we are finishing up our amazing week in Lake Manyara National Park. Oh, and we're already seeing some baboons in the trees. Apparently, this is the world's largest baboon population.
Sorry. Sorry. It wasn't a baboon, it was a different kind of monkey.
Interesting. Apparently, the world's largest baboon population is found in this particular park, and our guide had just told us that that's because of all the vegetation here. There are a lot of fruits and sweet trees that these animals like to eat, and there is an abundance of that food for them here, so it makes a lot of sense why they would choose this as their home.
And we read that it's not unusual to find groups of 200 or more baboons together. So we're hoping to see something like that today.
I would love to see that.
We had something, I'll put again up something on the screen. We had a group of baboons with us this morning on our back porch from our little bungalow, so it was pretty cool.
It was really cool. And you can't access the roads. The roads are completely washed out. As you can tell from some of the footage Darren got, even some of the bridges are pretty well underwater. And during the rainy season, you can't access certain areas at all because, of course, everything gets flooded over. So we're fortunate we're here and we can access most of the park.
Driving around the park, we've been seeing signs of elephant, and we'd only seen one to begin with earlier this morning, but now here in the afternoon we've seen at least a dozen that have come in walking down the road and been very vocal, which has been exciting because we haven't heard that since we've been here.
Yeah, it's been very cool. You know, you think you get tired of seeing certain animals, it doesn't get old. It's never boring. Yeah. Every experience is totally different and really, really special.
We also saw some giraffes earlier, which are spectacular, always a great thing to see. So we'll see what we have left, and then that'll be it for the rest of this park.
And with that, we're leaving Lake Manyara National Park. We're sad to say goodbye. Hey, Darren.
Hello, sweetie.
What you got there?
I have stir-fried vegetables, delicious beef curry with rice, and a positive attitude.
You sure do. What'd you have before that?
Oh, I had tomato soup with some bread. Glorious.
So we're back at our home in Arusha, back to the fun retreat. This is where we stayed our first night when we got to Tanzania. And when we had lunch, we got this delicious chicken curry dish, right? And ever since then, Darren has wanted curry. And fortunately for him, we're back at Fun Retreat, and they had beef curry on the menu. So we both got...
It's a different curry, but it's still outstanding.
Yeah, that was really good. So we're just walking around this beautiful property, and we wanted to just reflect on just a second for what we're gonna miss here in Tanzania. First of all, I'm gonna miss the wildlife. Waking up to the sounds of the wilderness and seeing animals outside our windows or hearing them outside of our tents is truly a magical experience, and we can't wait to come back for that. But one of the things we're gonna miss the most are the people in this beautiful country. These are some of the sweetest, most kind, warm, welcoming people we have ever met. We wanted to do a shout out.
Yes, from all the hotel staff, the bush camp staff, the lodging staff, I mean, our driver Mohammed, everybody at Mero Slopes Safari Tour, just everybody in general has been just absolutely wonderful. And today here at our resort, you know, they let us stay well past checkout because we have a 2:30 car to pick us up, take us to the airport. And they said, stay as long as you need to, and we'll take care of it. And it's been no problem, and it's been wonderful.
And so just to emphasize what Darren said, to all the wonderful staff, all the sweet people that we have met here at Fun Retreat in Arusha, at the Hondo Coffee Lodge, around the Ngorongoro Conservation Area, the Tanzania Bush Camps and Tanzania Mara Bush Camps, and of course our tour operator Mary Slopes Tours and Safaris here based in Arusha, and our awesome driver Mohammed. Thank all of you so much. You've made this the most magical week of our lives.
Yes, we
getting
can't.
choked up. I'm never gonna forget it.
Yeah, we can't thank them enough. We definitely want to use them again when we come back. It's not if, it's just a win. We definitely want to experience that with maybe some friends and bring them back and show them what we saw, and hopefully they get the same experience we did.
So if you're coming to Tanzania, these are the people, these are the tour companies and places we'd recommend very, very highly. This is not a paid advertisement. We're just speaking from the bottom of our hearts. Thank you so much. And, you know, when you come here to Tanzania, definitely book through them.
Yeah, and as always, please like, subscribe, and share. We can't thank everybody enough who takes the time to watch our videos and comment. It means the world to us, and we just hope to keep doing this as much as possible, as long as possible, and with your support we can do that.
Yes, thank you for your support, and we look forward to seeing you next week.
Yep. Bye.
Bye.